And welcome out to Grady's field as the Xenia Scouts are taking the field right now, about to take on the Lake Erie Monarchs. Hello, everyone. I am Terry Lash alongside my broadcast partner, Lance Morris. And Lance, another heartbreaker last night down at Foundation Field against the Hamilton Joes.
Yeah, there's really no other way to put it. They led most of the game. They had a big third inning. They also had a score in the first inning off an RBI double from David Gaunt, and then two errors opened the door to a sacked bunt from Chad Jacob of the Hamilton Joes, and then Daniel Neff came up and had a 2 RBI single that won the game for the Joes. First time the Scouts have lost in walk fashion. They had a couple walk wins. They had the one against Lima about a month ago, and then also the one against Lorain County right here at Grady's Field, and then in 14 innings a few weeks ago. So first time on the losing side of the walk-off for the Scouts, and they look to rebound here today against the Lake Erie Monarchs.
All right, Lance, you got to put that in the past. The Joes have had the Scouts' numbers so far this season, but you got to move on now playing the Lake Erie Monarchs. They're coming in at 6-11, but they've been 5-5 in their last 10 games. They got a lot of players late. This is a team that the Scouts started the Great Lakes League regular season against all the way back in the beginning of June, but here to start beginning of July, it's a whole different team, and they got a lot going on with that starting lineup.
Yeah, we noticed back when the season first started that they had a lot of guys still not yet on the team, finishing up their college seasons and whatnot. A lot of guys from D1, not a whole lot of guys from elsewhere. So a lot of D1 talent on this Lake Erie Monarchs squad. They just recently all got into camp and got acclimated with each other. So today's the first time that Terry and I will be seeing a full Lake Erie Monarchs squad.
And Lance, what's the side coming up for the Monarchs?
For the Monarchs, Dazon Cole will lead it off for them. He's from Central Michigan. And the next two players come to us from Middle Tennessee State University, and Kevin Sullivan, their shortstop, and Aaron Alker, their second baseman.
And on the mound for the Baby Blue and Whites is John Crawford going for his second victory of the season. First pitch to Cole is fouled away. Count is now 0-1 to Dazon. He's batting .409 on the year. Was the last week's Great Lakes League Player of the Week. 0-1 pitch to him now, and that one's be swung and fly to right field, and that one will be put away by Miles Wright. Some movement in the outfield from what we saw yesterday. Outfield is Levi Gilchrist starting at center, Wyatt Hogan in left, and Miles Wright in right field. As Kevin Sullivan struts to the plate, the lefty from Middle Tennessee State, batting .328 on the year. First pitch to him is right down the pipe for a strike. 0-1 to Kevin Sullivan of Aaron Alker on deck. Here comes the lefty's delivery. That one's going to be lined right back up the middle. Shortstop Jordan Schaefer with the diving grab. Jordan again getting the start at shortstop. Recently came to the team, and that was a nice play.
That looked like it was into short center field for a base hit all the way, and Schaefer made a great play diving across his body to grab that one for the second out of the inning.
So it might be Jordan Schaefer with Spidey at the end of the night as Aaron Alker comes to the plate. First pitch outside for a ball. Alker, one of the best batters in the league, has been right there in batting average at the tops, batting .444 on the year. 1-0 pitch to him now is missing a bit outside, so quickly 2-0 to the second baseman from Middle Tennessee State. Crawford gets his pitch, and he throws, and that one's going to be flown over to Lee Solomon on second base, and he'll put it away. So a quick 1-2-3 inning to start the game here for the Xenias. They have an early start, starting at 6:05 because it is community night here at the AIA Sports Complex. We have 3-on-3 basketball, a bunch of games on scavenger hunts, and we'll have between innings multiple kids coming on the field and competing in dizzy bat races. Just a whole lot of fun here. So if you're at the Xenia area, come down to the sports complex and watch your Scouts live. Coming to the mound today for the Lake Erie Monarchs will be Jacob Picata from Western Michigan, one of a few Broncos on this team. This will be his 5th start on the season. And Lance, is there anything else you can tell us about Jacob Picata?
Well, Picata, like you mentioned, a Michigan Bronco, starting today for the Lake Erie Monarchs. And he's a lefty, and there's a ton of lefties on this Lake Erie Monarch squad that we talked about last time. It seemed like every single guy was a lefty for the Monarchs. Picata does have a couple starts. This will be his 5th start on the season. He comes to us from Kalamazoo, Michigan. He stands 6'3", 205. And his record on the season, he's 0-2 with a 6.05 ERA. Like I said, this will be his 5th start. And he's pitched 19 1/3 inning, just 12 strikeouts to go with 5 walks. So not the best pitcher on the Monarchs, but definitely capable of getting things done.
Monarchs, they sport the pinstripes with the dark gray jerseys with black numbers and light green trimming, and then with the navy blue shoulders. They're opposing the Xenia Scouts in their baby blues as they're at home in Grady's field, and Lee Solomon comes to the plate. And we have a bit of a different start to this lineup. Lance will have that after the first pitch to Lee Solomon. As the home plate umpire is stomping around a bit, might have a pellet problem. So Picata steps in the mound. The lefty delivers. And first pitch a little bit low for a ball. Lance West that side coming up for the Scouts.
A little bit of a different lineup than we've seen. Typically, it'll be Leah Solomon at the plate, of course, then Miles Wright and Kyle Carnahan.
So second pitch a bit low to Solomon. Miles Wright has been experimented a little bit with recently. He was in the 7th spot and now in the 2 spot of the lineup. So here's the 2-0, and that one's hit to right field. And it will be put away. So first pitch swing for Lee Solomon is put away by Jake Shepsky. So here comes Miles. Batting .260 on the year. Lee Solomon came out to play. Go ahead, Lance.
And Miles comes to the day hitting .266 on the year. Raised that average up. It was .250 going into last night's game, and Miles went 2 for 4 last night. Had a couple of hits and also stole a base.
First pitch to Miles is outside and low for a ball. Like we mentioned, Miles normally at the end of the lineup bats number 9, but against Hamilton the first game was number 7 and number 2 in the starting lineup for the Scouts today, and that pitch goes for a strike as Miles showed bunt. To even things up at 1 apiece with 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning, quickly moving through this ball game. These two teams are. 1-1 pitch from Picata. That was checked, but goes down for a strike on the outside corner anyway. So 1-2 to number 2, Miles Wright. Miles goes to St. Edward's University in Austin, Texas. The 1-2 to him is going to be driven right back up the middle, put away by Auker, and that's going to do it for the second batter of the bottom of the first inning for the Scouts. As a 4-3 puts away Miles Wright.
It sure seems like up to this point the outside corner is wide open for these opposing pitchers, each of them lefties. So look for a lot of things to hit the outside corner because it appears that is going to be a strike most of the night so far that we've seen.
7 lefties in this pitching staff for the Monarchs. First pitch to Kyle Carnahan in there for a strike.
I guess you could say they have a few lefties.
More than with 13 players on the staff, more than half of them of the southpaw variety. 0-1 now to Carnahan. He looks at the second pitch as it goes low and away for a ball. Kyle's been on a tear recently, Lance.
Yeah, he's hit very well recently. He's hitting over 300 in the last week, so definitely been seeing the ball well.
And he swings at that 1-1 and misses a bit behind that one yet again, like Lance mentioned, on the outside corner. Something we've seen Picata go back to time and time again here in the bottom of the first. Kyle Carnahan down 1-2. Here's the delivery outside. Evens it up at 2-2.
Kyle, of course, leading the team, and I'm pretty sure leading the league in hit by pitches with 9 on the season.
He is, and here comes the 2-2 from Picata. Swung on and tipped backwards into the netting. Kyle a little bit behind that one, but Good job getting a piece of wood on it and stay alive. On deck for the Scouts will be David Gaunt in his usual cleanup position. Team at the plate, and that one's going to be swung on ahead to left field and put away by Dan Shimolewski. And originally I thought he might have got himself a little bit of trouble because he stepped up, realized he had to step backwards because Carnahan had a nice swing on that one, but before the warning track, Kyle Carnahan is put away, so the Scouts, just like the Monarchs, go down 1-2-3 in a quick inning of action. We start this one around 6:05, only 6:15 now.
We have some exciting and hopefully entertaining games for you tonight. Our first game is Wrap the Mummy.
Each side goes down 1-2-3 to start off this contest. So could just be a matter of time before we see the bats awaken, as there was a couple hard hit balls, especially by the Scouts. Solomon laced that one over towards the right, and Carnahan laced it out to left. Each of them were just shy of the warning track, so nice pieces of hitting, but not quite enough to get it down.
So John Crawford goes back out to the rubber for his second inning of action, and Lance, John's been very good this year. What else can you tell us about a player that usually went to Bowling Green State University, the shirt you're sporting right now, but transferred to Sinclair Community College and was the Tartan this season, and now a Scout in the Baby Blues?
Yeah, John Crawford, we basically only see him on the days he pitches. He has his own working schedule back home in Wapakoneta. But Crawford, this will be his fourth start on the year, and he's done extremely well. He has an ERA under 1, so he's been throwing very well. It's just a tad under 1 at .94. He's got 1 win and just 1 win, no losses on his record. There was a game the Scouts lost against the Joes the first time we played him, but also pitched against the Ironmen in the game that eventually went 14 innings. So he went 6 strong innings, but not long enough to get the decision in that one.
And here comes the first pitch to Crawford in there for a strike. Coming to the plate now is Ross Haffey from Miami University, right down the road in Oxford, Ohio. 0-1 to the first baseman, Haffey, and that one a little bit low for a ball. Evened up the count at 1 apiece.
Haffey comes into the day hitting .250, does have 2 home runs on the season.
Here comes the 1-1 from Crawford. Now swung in and missed, blew by Haffey on that one. And here comes 1-2 delivery. That one's a bit low and away to Zach Wiley, who's going to start behind the plate today. Yesterday we saw Lincoln Reed, the day before David Gaunt. Now 2-2. Now once we chopped over to Jordan Schaefer, he picks it up, makes the throw to first, and in time, Lincoln Reed with a nice dig out on the first base bag, and Jordan Schaefer's been tested twice now. Back in that first inning against Kevin Sullivan, he made that nice snag, and this time puts it away for the 6-3 to retire Haffey. And that's going to bring up Jake Shepsky from Notre Dame University in South Bend, Indiana. First pitch to him, outside for a ball.
Shepsky comes into the day hitting .286.
Shepsky, a righty against the lefty Crawford. Here's the second pitch, and that curves in there for a strike. He was up at 1 apiece. Nice break to that ball from the southpaw, Jordan Crawford. And here comes the next pitch from John, and that one's a bit high. And I said, Jordan Lynch, you give me the look.
Yeah, you did. Of
John.
course, we're used to it because of his playing days at BG as on the basketball.
Here comes the 2-1. That one is popped high into the air. Levi Gilcrease will stroll briskly for that one and put it away. So 5 straight outs to start the game for John Crawford from Sinclair Community College. That's going to bring up the hardest name in the Great Lakes League, Mark Skonezny. Batting .319 on the year, the Fighting Illini. First pitch to him, in there for a strike. We didn't see Skonezny the last time the Scouts played the Monarchs, and that was swung on and missed, so quickly 0-2. to the catcher.
Yeah, we saw Devaney and also Sammy Stevens behind the plate. I don't think he was with the team the first time around.
0-2 pitch. Swung on and chopped off the plate or off his foot, it looks like, as he's hobbling after that one. So we're going to do it again at 0-2. Ron Crawford does work relatively fast. I'd say probably the second fastest working pitcher on the team.
Who's he behind?
Oh, that'd be Ben Aldridge.
Oh, just want to make sure.
And Scouts lost in dramatic fashion last night against the Hamilton Joes, 5-4. That one's a bit high. So we'll do it again here with John Crawford. He hurls it in. That one's going to be a hit to left field, and Jordan Schaefer calls off Wyatt Hogan, and he puts it away. So, second time this inning that Schaefer is challenged, and he steps up to that challenge, and 6 up, 6 down. The Lake Erie Monarchs to start this game. We're going to the bottom of the second with a 0-0 score. Once again, I'm Terry Lash alongside my broadcast partner, Lance Morris. I want to thank all of you for listening at home, whether it's on the live stream or you're watching on YouTube the next day or whenever you want to watch it. Just thank you for spending your time with Lance and myself as we give you coverage of all the Scouts games this season. The Xenia Scouts will be playing at 7:05 tomorrow up in Flat Rock, Michigan against the Lake Erie Monarchs.
Not looking forward to that drive.
It's the longest drive of the year for the Scouts. Only team not in Ohio, the Lake Erie Monarchs. Flat Rock, Michigan, about roughly 45 minutes to an hour away from Toledo, would you say, Lance?
Something like that. Not too far. It's about 20 miles or so south of Detroit on 75, so not too far of a drive when we're back at home. But here, it's a little bit of a hike.
So I say about 3.5 to 4 hours in length on the bus. And we'll go that drive tomorrow. But first, we have community night here, and the Scouts trying to get back in the win column as they're on a 2-game losing streak for the second time this season. Both of those losing streaks courtesy of the Hamilton Joes.
Yeah, the Scouts have 8 losses on the season. Half of those, 4, have came from the Hamilton Joes. So definitely a team the Scouts have struggled with, to say the least. 2 of those games in complete heartbreak fashion, and the others just got away from the Scouts earlier on in the ballgame.
2 one-run losses and 2 9-3 affairs as David Gaunt is about to step up to the batter's box. Mikata steps on the rubber. He stands on the left of it looking at home plate. Here's the first pitch. Swung on and missed from Gaunt, who's batting .361 on the year.
Yeah, Gaunt the highest average on this team with .361. Also, of course, 5 home runs to go, 25 RBIs.
0-1 to him, and that one's we swung on and missed as well. Jacob Hikata getting up early on David Gaunt. Those 25 RBIs for Gaunt, the most in the entire league. And that pitch is high and outside, so now 1-2 to Gaunt. Now from Washburn University to Topeka, Kansas, and that one misses outside as well, evened up at 2 apiece, so good vision. Gaunt, he was playing DH today. Here's a 2-2 outside corner again. Good eye by Gaunt. Makes it the first full count of the day. Payoff pitch incoming from Jacob Picata. He winds and fires, and that one's fouled off by Gaunt. He got a piece of the stitching on that one and sent it back towards the backstop. Getting a pretty here at Grady's field. One of the furthest in the league on the all-turf field. And here comes the 3-2 again. That one's we swung, chopped over to Sullivan at short. He's going to throw to first and gets Gaunt in plenty of time. 4 up, now 4 down for the Scouts to start this game.
So now to bring Zach Wiley up to the plate, and right around at this point is where the averages start to go down for the Xenia Scouts. Wiley comes in hitting 188. Did have a nice double back a couple games ago. That was back on Sunday.
And then here comes first pitch to Wiley. Takes it for a strike.
Wiley, of course, had a nice play as the ball actually got away from Mikata. Not too often, but Wiley actually commanded the bats to wake up on Sunday, and that actually worked, as then he himself had a nice double, and the rest of the Scouts seemed to follow up, and a lot of the guys like to say hitting's contagious.
Here comes the 0-1, and that one's low for a ball, and sometimes you just have to yell at an inanimate object, Lance, and that's how you win a baseball game.
Sometimes it works. Not every time, just sometimes.
1-1 with one out. Outside corner to Wiley as he watches it go by. Looks at the umpire. Thought it was a bit too far. A good frame drop with Skonesny. Here comes the 1-2, and that one swung and fouled out of play to the right side. A couple of fans go to chase that one. Wiley, the catcher from Union University in Jackson, Tennessee. Wiley from outside of Memphis originally. Here's the 1-2, and that one's in the turf to even things up at 2-2. Because throw that one well outside for a ball, and for the second straight batter here in the bottom, we have a full count. 0-0 score here in the bottom of 2, 1 out. And the payoff pitch inside for a ball. So Zach Wiley gets the start and draws the walk. That'll be the first base runner of the game for either of these two teams. Still hitless.
Looks like got a little bit of turf pellets in his shoe. Had to take him out.
I've been there before, as we were here last week helping with the Ultimate Training Camp, and my shoes are actually filled with those pellets to go home. Got to the Johannes household, and I dumped them out all in the trash can. Fun fact.
At least you did it in the trash can.
Absolutely. And Lincoln Reed, the switch hitter, batting right to the lefty. Picata takes the first pitch for a strike.
Lincoln hitting .203 on the season. Didn't play in last night's contest.
And I pick up the 10th. Back in time easily is Zach Wiley.
He's not going to be running, people. Just stop throwing at him.
And as Lance mentions, not the fleetest of foot Zach Wiley, but Picata giving him his respect regardless. 0-1 to Reed. Looks back at Wiley. Throws to the plate. Well outside. Might have been a pitch out.
He's not going anywhere. It's entertaining to me.
1-1 now. Trojan from Taylor. That one's well outside as well. So back in the first inning, it seemed like Picata was pinpointing that outside corner. On the second, with the scoreless ball game, he's had some accuracy issues trying to hit that edge. 2-1 count now to Lincoln, and he chops that one foul. Skonesny hurries and grabs it, but clearly in foul territory, so we'll be even up at 2 apiece. First two batters of this inning both reached a full count. We'll see if Lincoln Reed will do the same here. Picata already over 30 pitches for the game, and that one is low for a ball. So will be the third straight full count of the bottom of the second inning, which you don't see very often, Lance. 3 straight full counts.
Yeah, the Scouts doing a great job of making Picata work, and as Wiley already drew a walk.
Here's the payoff. That one swung right at the middle. Picata makes a nice play. They throw to second base and back to first for the double play. Picata to Sullivan to Haffey for the 1-6-3 double play to end the inning. It was a well-hit ball, but a better play on the mound from Jacob. Picata ends the second inning with a goose egg apiece on the board as we're going to the top of the third.
So each team has gone down 1-2-3 to start off the game. Monarchs did it in both of their innings. Scouts did it in both of their innings. Of course, the Scouts went down a little differently after Wiley drew a walk. So they forced a double play ball that Lincoln Reed hit into, and it was a great play by Picata on the mound to field his position, because some pitchers aren't very good at that, so it's nice to test them regardless of if it works out or not. Now they know that Picata, a decent fielder, on the mound.
Some other games in an action around the Great Lakes League today. No doubleheaders, something we haven't seen recently because so much rain this summer has really caused havoc on the Great Lakes League schedule. Some other games tonight at 7:05, about 30 minutes from now, the Hamilton Joes will go down to Cincinnati to take on the Steam. Hunter Dunn pitching in that one. He is second in the league in strikeouts for the Steam. And then in Galleon, the Licking County Settlers will try to continue their winning ways and take on the Graders. Northern Ohio Baseball Club takes on the Lorain County Ironmen at the Pipe Yard. Interesting fact, the Scouts play the Northern Ohio Baseball Club at the Pipe Yard, the home of the Ironmen, due to bad field condition at Mills Field. And then the Lima Locos and Grand Lake Mariners will be in action. That one at Montgomery Field in Salina. So a whole lot of action around the league. The only team not playing today will be the Southern Ohio Copperheads, who split that doubleheader last night against the Grand Lake Mariners. Lance, what's the side coming up for the Mariners here? Excuse me, for the Monarch here in the top of the third.
Well, coming up for the Monarchs, it'll be Luke Devaney. He comes to us from Eastern Michigan University.
To Devaney, that was inside corner for a strike.
And after him, it'll be J.R. Reamer, the third baseman from Northwestern. And then it'll be Dan Shimalewski. Hopefully I got that right, from Michigan State University.
You did. Shimalewski rounds it out. And here's the second pitch. That was hit over towards Schaefer again as short picks up, throws the first, and he fires in time. So Jordan Schaefer has seen a lot of action over there at shortstop already in this game. That will be the fourth time he's been involved in the 7 putouts.
No, it was
Second? I think it's the second.
ball.
So J.R. Reamer steps to the plate.
No, it was the second pitch. Yeah, you went strike one.
And that one's being chopped over to Schaefer again. He charges, throws the first in time to the long outstretched arms of Lincoln Reed. So again, the shortstop, originally from Northwestern State University, transferred to Hines Community College. And he's just been phenomenal over there.
They've tested him a lot so far, has been hit at in each of the first 3 innings. First inning was a lineout that he made a great play on, and a lot of ground balls since then.
And here comes Crawford again, and he gets another grounder. The shortstop, Jordan Schaefer throws the first, and that's 3 straight outs.
3 straight outs, all in the same fashion. All of them just about hit the same exact way. None of them were hit too hard. None of them were hit too soft. Case of it being just right.
John Crawford threw 4 pitches that inning. 4.
That'll help his pitch count.
He started off with a strike against Luke Devaney, then 3 straight pitchers and 3 straight ground balls. All to Jordan Schaefer. Unbelievable. So we'll be going to the bottom of the 3rd inning, as it's been 9 down so far. The Scouts and the Lake Erie Monarchs just don't have any answer so far for John Crawford. And as we come to the bottom half of the 3rd inning, and Lance, what's the side coming out for the Scouts?
For the Scouts, it'll start 7, 8, 9. It'll start off with Levi Gilcrease, the center fielder from Baylor. He went 0 for 4 last night, had a rough night at the plate with 3 Ks. And it'll be Wyatt Hogan, the left fielder from Hendrix College. He did not play in the last night's affair. And then it'll be Jordan Schaefer, the guy we've been talking about making play after play in the field. He also did not play last night against the Joes.
Jordan Schaefer, very new to the team, just got here this week, and he's already been well acclimated. All the guys say he's a great guy, and I got to speak to him a little bit. Fantastic, fits right in here with this Xenia Scouts club.
All that matters is he was a part of Team No Bumpers.
He was part of Lance's bowling team that was victorious in his first day here, so he started off on a winning note as Levi Gilcrease steps up to the batter's box. Levi, batting 187 on the year, went 0 for 4 yesterday with 3 strikeouts, and he watches that first pitch go for a ball. Here comes the 1-0. That one's going to be lined right up the middle, and that's going to be the first hit of the ball game. So a good piece of wood from Levi Gilcrease, after going 0 for yesterday, starts off this game on a hot note of a hot shot right past Picata over his left shoulder. That's one of those 4 situations, Lance, where you just got to duck because you don't know where the ball's coming.
The last time he came into a game with some hits, it was back in Game 1 against the Galleon Graders. He went 2 for 3 in that contest.
And here comes Wyatt Hogan. Also went hitless yesterday. Gilcrease sitting over there on first base. First pitch for a strike. But Gilcrease can move on the base pass.
Wyatt went hitless yesterday because he didn't play.
He did not play yesterday. Day before he went hitless.
That's correct.
And a pickoff attempt. Gilcrease just back in time. Did not slide.
Gilcrease does have 5 steals on the year, so up there in terms of stolen bases for the Scouts, so could be on the move.
0-1 now to Wyatt Hogan. As we tip backwards for a foul back to the netting behind the backstop. So quickly now, 0-2 from Picata to Wyatt Hogan, left fielder. Today the left fielder from Hendrix College in Arkansas, originally from California. And here comes that 0-2, and that one's outside and low for a ball. In about the same spot that Picata's been missing in this game, trying to get White to chase after that one. Levi Gilcrease sitting over there on first base. The first hit of the game here in the bottom of the third. And that one's going to be chopped. And it's going to go foul. So unfortunate break for Wyatt Hogan because I thought that dribble was going to stay in. Even if Wyatt was thrown out, he would have advanced Gilcrease to second. But it drifts foul after a couple of bounces on the pellets. And he's going to do it again at 1-2.
Yeah, I was talking with Wyatt in the weight room today, and he was wearing a Hendrix College shirt that said strength and speed. I was like, I don't know if you have much of that second one, which was speed. And he said, I usually can beat out those tough balls, just it hasn't worked out well so far this year. So there's always a chance he can beat out a ground ball.
Well, we would have seen it there, but it stayed foul. And here comes the 1-2 from Picata. Lisa Gilcrease throws it home, and that was lined, but foul. Our absolute rope between Reamer on third and head coach Bubba Cates. Unfortunately for Wyatt, it wasn't straight out, so he's going to do it again at 1-2.
He squared that one up real nicely, just wasn't able to get that down that left field line. That would have easily gotten Gilcrease to third, if not scoring.
Gilcrease on first, no outs. Here's the 1-2, and that one's going to be chopped slowly towards short, picked up, thrown to second, and Wyatt Hogan beats the in time for the fielder's choice, but Levi Gilcrease is put out, so the 6-4-3 cannot be completed, but the 6-4 putout ends the inning for Gilcrease for the foreseeable future.
And so on that one, it was just ruled safe, so no throwing error, and that Hogan beat it out regardless.
Yeah, he definitely would have been there in time anyways. Jordan Schaefer comes to the dish, batting 167 for a short season. Inside corner for a strike to the shortstop, who's been heavily worked today. 1-1 now, kind of an overcast day here. That one's hit towards second base, picked up, thrown a short now to first, and that 4-6-3 will end the inning. So the second straight time, and the Scouts go 1-2-3 with a double play ball to end the inning. So both teams have gone 9 up, 9 down in this contest.
And yeah, outside of that hit from Levi Gilcrease, hasn't been too much action for either side. We've seen a lot of defensive plays from Schaefer over at short. We've also seen a couple nice plays in the outfield, just making sure they get to the routine fly balls, make sure nothing crazy happens. So not a whole lot to speak of either way for either of these squads.
So Picata threw 43 pitches so far. The last double play ball of the 4-6-3 variety from Alker to Sullivan. A Happy at 6'5" tall, dominating presence over there on first base. Jordan Crawford about to go to his 4th inning of work, and normally Jordan pitches about 6 innings. Lance and I were having a debate about this before the game, how long that Crawford would last. Did I call him Jordan again?
Probably.
John Crawford. I am so sorry, John. I might not have that time, but for my previous ones, John Crawford on the mound today for the Xenia Scouts. As Jordan Schaefer has short, John Crawford on the mound. I think I got it all mixed up. And John Crawford, and like Lance mentioned, under a 1.00 ERA, coming in with a .094 ERA into this contest. That was good for third in the league. Number 2 would be his teammate, Q McGrath. The Xenia Scouts has really led them this season. It's been unfortunate for John because he only has one victory through just such dominating pitching through no fault of his own. It just hits hasn't really come when he's been on the mound.
Yeah, the Scouts' bats took a little too long to wake up in those couple games. One of those, like I mentioned, the 14-inning game against Lorraine.
And here's Dazon Cole at the plate again. That one outside corner for a strike. Last time Cole was at the plate, he went down 0-1 and then flew out to Miles Wright in right field. 0-1 pitch to Cole, and that one's flown to right field. Lincoln Reed trying to make a play out of it, but out of play. Good hustle by the first baseman. But regardless, Dazon now down 0-2 here in the top of the 4th inning with a 0-0 score as we are speed racing through this contest.
Can't knock the hustle from Lincoln Reed.
You cannot. 0-2 pitch from Crawford is foul backwards. John's been in complete control out there on the rubber. As Old Glory in right field begins to sway back and forth. 0-2 will do it again from number 11. That one's going to be chopped over to Jordan Schaefer. And he throws the first in time. That's 5 straight putaways from Schaefer. I would go back all the way to the top of the 2nd. And then he got the last out on a flyout from Skanesny, and then 3 straight in the top of the 3rd, and then we just saw it with Dazon Cole.
These are facts.
And now comes Kevin Sullivan, who lined out last time to Jordan Schaefer. Here comes the first pitch, and that one's low for a ball. Last time Sullivan was up, it was that beautiful diving play to Schaefer's left, showing off his range. That put away Sullivan. That was lined into the outfield, be the first hit of the day for the Monarchs.
He just got a nice piece of that one and lined it out towards Miles Wright in right field. Got down in front of him for a base hit. So nice job to get through the lineup one time without giving up any hits from Crawford, but wasn't able to start off so hot in the second time around against these Monarchs.
Sullivan had the best hit of those 9 outs in the first time around. That time just put it above the head of Lee Sullivan. A little more power in the second time around for him. Strike to Auker.
Auker flew out to Lee Solomon in his last at-bat.
Auker again came in the day batting .444. And he flew out to Lee Solomon first time. That one had a lot of rotation on it. Comes back down for a strike. A lot of movement on that ball from Crawford. So 0-2 now to Auker. With Sullivan getting a pretty big lead over there at first. See if he checks him. That one's going to be lined towards Levi Gilcrease in center field, and he'll easily put that one away. Cock his arm, and then we'll hold back from throwing it first, because you know that's always a possibility with Levi.
Yeah, we were talking about the last time out, last time we were at home, the same kind of situation happened, except the guy who was at first ran almost the whole way to second. We were wondering, we asked him later, were you getting ready to throw it? He's like, I was getting ready to throw it. He wanted to test him, but he decided against it that time.
A live gun never has a safety off Levi Gilcrease as there's a pickoff attempt from Crawford to Reed. In time is Sullivan, but even in deep center field, if you're lollygagging back to first base, he will try to throw you out. As Happy steps to the plate, and that was swung on in. His big swing from the big man, Ross Haffey. So 0-1 to him now, 2 outs here. On top of the 4th inning, Kevin Sullivan over on first base. Second pitch outside for a ball. Counts now 1-1. And Crawford, here in his 4th inning of work, gets Haffey swinging at that one.
I think that one hit off of Zach Wiley's hand, his bare hand.
So it'll be 1-2 now.
He went to
Sullivan's still on first base. John Crawford trying to get out of the top of the fourth. Again, community night here at Grady's Field. You have action between every half inning, and here comes the steal attempt from Sullivan. That one's fouled away on the hit and run play.
Sullivan, 10 steals on the year, has been caught twice, so we saw him run on that one with 2 down. Looks like they were just trying to do a little hit and run because that's about all you can do when you have 2 strikes on Haffey.
10 steals, one of the best in the whole league, so you know Sullivan, the 2-hitter in this lineup, has some wheels. And here comes the pitch. Swan chopped past Schaefer this time. First time a ball has got a through Schaefer today. Nothing much you can do with that one. So second hit of the day given up by John Crawford to put runners on first and second. So a single for Haffey. Jake Shefsky comes up to the plate. He flew out last time, I believe, by Gilcrease. And we're going to have a meeting at the mound.
Crawford allows Haffey and Sullivan to reach courtesy of base hits. That brings up Jake Shepsky. And we'll have to see if Crawford can get out of this because we've seen in previous starts he'll allow guys to get on and somehow find a way to get out of the inning without allowing a run to score.
Yeah, 9 walks on the year for Crawford, so he does put runners on base, but we've called him Houdini because he seems to always get out of it. Here comes the first pitch. Inside, way inside. Great play from Zach Wiley, where that one would have went to the backstop, and we would have had 2 runners in scoring position.
I wonder if Houdini was a lefty.
I'm not sure if he was a southpaw or not.
It's an interesting question.
I'll have to look that one up later. 1-0 count now to Shefsky at the plate. Runners on first and second. Here's the 1-0. That one swung on and missed, and looks like Crawford took a little something off of that one. But he was up at 1 apiece as the Baby Blues are desperately trying to get out of the top of the 4th inning. Crawford looks towards second. Now he throws home. That one breaks in and is tipped backwards towards us. You got to see the nice rotation before it got caught into the netting behind us like a bug in a spider web. 1-2 count now with 2 outs. 2 runners on, top 4, 0-0 score. Here comes the 1-2. That one's outside. Looked like Crawford trying to give him chase at that one.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a waste pitch on that one.
So evened up for Shefsky at the plate. Sullivan on second. He's the speedster. Here's that 2-2. That one is hit high, high, high to left field. It looks like Wyatt Hogan's going to get under, and he will. He'll put it away. So a little bit of danger that inning for the Scouts as the Monarchs put 2 runners on, but they leave them both stranded. And Crawford will go to the 5th inning, still hasn't allowed a run.
So that's been a problem that the Scouts have seen off of their own bats. The Scouts have had a tendency to leave runners on. It didn't affect them before this past series against the Joes, but against the Joes the last couple nights it did come back to bite them. They left 6 on in last night's loss. They had left 6 guys on compared to the Joes 5. The night before they also left 6 guys on compared to the Joes 4. So it's been a constant theme for the Scouts, but against some of the lesser teams in the league it didn't play as big a role. So when you're playing the top teams in the league, like the Joes, like the Copperheads, those teams of that nature, you have to bring around those runs, otherwise you're going to lose. And that's exactly what we saw the last couple of nights from the Scouts when they were taking on the Joes.
So Jake Picata coming back on the mound for his 4th inning of action. Again, the Scouts have gone 9 up, 9 down. They do have 1 hit and 1 walk, but the last 2 innings they've hit into inning-ending double plays. So Lance, what's the side coming up for the Scouts?
So the Scouts are going to be back to the top of the order. It'll be Lee Solomon He flew out to right his first time up. Then it'll be Miles right. He grounded out to Aaron Walker over at second. And it was Kyle Carnahan up next, and he flew out to Shimolewski his first time up back in the first inning.
Here comes the first pitch to Lee, and that one's going to be lined towards short. It bounces first, and it's be put away by Haffey, so a nice play by Shepsky. And down goes
Miles right.
Excuse me, Sullivan.
You had the S right.
I had the S right. I got my S's confused.
Shepsky's out in right field.
And down goes Sullivan, so 10 batters down for the Scouts, and base runners have been at a minimum of this game for the Baby Blues. Now Miles right off the plate. The second one curves. Outside for a ball. 1-0 to Miles. So here comes a 1-0 pitch, and that one's going to be chopped. And nice play at third base, and Miles is put away just in time. It was very close over there. A good play by Reamer to dive into the turf and throw out Miles right, who almost beat it out still, but wow, what a play by Reamer.
Yeah, Reamer made a nice play over there at third, diving, was able to pick it up and throw it over to Haffey in time for the out, but Miles made sure that one was a tough out as he ran all the way through and almost beat it out at first.
So 2 up, 2 down for the Scouts to start the bottom of the fourth inning. It's the first pitch to Kyle Carnahan. Goes low for a ball. And here comes Picato's next one. That one's in there for a strike. So Picado just mowing down the Scouts in this contest. Is only giving up 1 hit so far. The Scouts have gone down in succession. That one a little bit low. 2-1 now to Mr. Hot Corner, Kyle Carnahan. Scouts trying to get something going here in the bottom of the fourth inning. These two teams are scoreless. Here's the 2-1. That one's going to be fouled away. And now it is 2-2. So 2-2 for Carnahan. That one's going to be hit towards center field. Days on Cole. Will put it away, and down goes Carnahan. So the Scouts go 1, 2, 3 for the 4th time in a row.
This is a classic game. We have 2 contestants.
So each team has gone down 1, 2, 3 in 3 innings so far of the 4 total. It was just a matter of different innings for each team, as the Monarchs did it in the 4th inning, and the Scouts went down in order, but were able to get a couple of guys on base, and they just weren't able to do much with them. So 4 innings in the book, still zeros across the board. Just a matter of which team can break something open first.
Yeah, this one's been such a fast game. Started at about 6:05. We're not even 50 minutes through, and we're already in the 5th inning of action. That's what happens. One team has 2 hits, one team has 1, and the Scouts have gone 12 up, 12 down. As we see Crawford come out for the 5th inning.
Yeah, it's been a very quick contest. Started at exactly 6:07, so like you said, not even an hour in, and we're already through 4 complete innings. So it's a good job. Each team has had great pitching. Scouts have had Crawford, and the Monarchs have had Picada. So each team bringing their A game from the mound. It's just a matter of if the batters can find a way to get that ball into play, just make things happen.
And Lance, what's the side come up here in the top of the 5th for the Lake Erie Monarchs?
For the Monarchs, it'll start off with their catcher, Mark Skaneski, and then it'll be Luke Devaney and J.R. Reamer, the guy who made a great play down at third base at the end of last inning.
And here comes Skaneski. Last time he was up, flew out to Jordan Schaefer at short. 1-0 to him now, so that pitch goes high. Crawford so far, no walks or strikeouts. Here comes the second pitch to Skanesny, which is fouls backwards to even up at 1 apiece.
Because he came into the day hitting .319, has 12 RBIs in the season, and he's one of those guys that arrived late. So he came in and was ready to swing the bat as soon as he got to the team.
He was in the Big Ten season, and that one's going to be chopped over foul left at the third baseline. The Fighting Illini, where he plays his college ball, had a very good year this year. So, of course, Skanesny going to come to the Monarchs a bit late. Here comes the next pitch from the lefty Crawford. That one in there, outside corner for a strike, and down goes Skanesny. Caught looking at that one. He was hanging on the edge as you watch it go through the outside corner.
It's the 5th inning, and that's the first strikeout we've seen from either side.
I mean, number 12 on the year for Crawford, usually a pitch of contact. Man on the mound. Pitch. That one's going to be fouled backwards from Devaney. Luke last time grounded out to Jordan Schaefer at short. It's going to be the same story for the next 2 batters as well. Actually, the next 3 batters. A check swing, still got the edge of the bat. And quickly 0-2 now to Devaney. That time Crawford went 7 innings, usually 6. Here's his 0-2, and that one's going to be fouled backwards. Went 5-hole on Zach Wiley and slowly rolled to the backstop. As Dylan Donnelly runs out to pick it up, throws it back to the home plate umpire. 2 hit last inning for the Monarchs, but so far it's been John Crawford, and that one's outside. For a ball, 1-2 now.
Crawford's still working at a similar pace to when this game started.
Here's the 1-2, and that one's a bit high. Counts now even up at 2-2 to the Penny. Swinging on the second pitch. Here's the 2-2. That one's going to be moved to right field and in front of Miles Wright. So a single with 1 out here in the top of the 5th, as that one was dug out and Sam pitched right in front of Miles Wright. It was perfectly. You could have placed that one.
Yeah, if Miles had been in a little more, might have had a chance at that one, but that just looped in a little too to get that one in time to try and make a play and catch that one. So we just had to let that one drop in front of us. Could have tried to dive at that one, but probably wouldn't have been able to grab it.
So for the second straight inning, a 1-out single. That one's going to be fouled backwards from J.R. Reamer, the third baseman. It's a Wildcat from Northwestern with a few players in the starting lineup from the Big Ten. We just saw Mark Skanesny recently fighting a lineup from Illinois on deck. Dan Shimolewski, he's a Spartan from Michigan State. Crawford checks first. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and that one's high. So evened up to Reamer at 1 apiece. Benny sitting over there on first base.
He has an attempt at a steal, so don't think that right now would be a start.
And pick off attempt. No idea if John Crawford knows that or not. He's probably going to treat him about the same. We did see a hit and run attempt earlier from Kevin Sullivan back in the top of the 4th inning. And there's the 1-1 that was to be fouled out of play past the Monarch bullpens, and it's going to be a 1-2 count now. Crawford a strike away from a second strikeout of the game and the second out of this inning. Fenny on first, 1 out, top 5, 0-0 score. John Crawford on the mound. He winds and fires. That one's going to be fouled backwards. We'll do it again at 1-2. And thank you for listening to Lance Morris and myself, Terry Lash, for Xenia Scouts Baseball. on a beautiful Thursday night here on Community Night.
One of the nicer crowds we've seen this season.
Yeah, it looks like all the churches combined and get a lot of people here, and that was low. It was thrown to first by Zach Wiley. Good job by Lincoln Reed to block that one from bouncing in to right field. Been catastrophic, because that would have put Devaney in scoring position on second base. A good job by Lincoln.
Right idea from Zach Wiley, not the best throw. Good job by Lincoln to keep that one in front of him.
Here comes 2-2 from the softball. That one's going to be fouled back again. So a